Yo, what's up? This is Sonny from Sonny Eat Well Club. And I'm going to do another meal for you, a slimmed down meal. You can have this for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, but I prefer, for breakfast. Alright, so let me tell you what we're going to use. We got a cabbage, and it's only half a cabbage. Of course, it's been washed and everything like that. Alright, we got flour, and at the end of the show, it'll show the ingredients, and it'll show how much of what. So we got some flour here, we got 1 egg here, we got a green pepper. Now, if you want to use a yellow pepper, if you want to use the green pepper, the orange, it doesn't make a difference, okay? And we got an onion cut up. I have 2 pieces of bacon that I already cooked and crumbled it up like so it's a little, how do I put it to you, like bacon bits. Okay, so first what we're going to do, we're going to cut this cabbage up. Alright, so I'm going to cut it here. And if you wanted to use red cabbage, that's okay too. So it doesn't have to be the green one. You could use the red cabbage. Okay? Alright, because cabbage is a fat burner. Alright, so see, we're going to cut this all up. These are going to be our cabbage pancakes. Okay, you want to cut it up smaller? Cut it up smaller. I don't think it's necessary. So I'm going to put most of this in here. That's why I'm only using a half. And that's even a lot. But it was the smallest one that I could find. Okay, I'm going to put that in here. Alright, I'm going to put this to the side. Now, of course, my hands have been washed and clean. I'm just going to break it up a little bit here with my hands. Okay, now I have a pot of boiling water that I started. So that's boiling away. That piece is a little too hard. Okay, now we're going to take this, and I crumbled it up, make it a little smaller, and we're going to put it in the boiling water for about, 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, so I've got this cabbage in this pot of boiling water for about 10 minutes, and it's pretty tender, so I think we're going to shut this off and strain it and start our mixture. Alright, so I got my cabbage strained. I'm going to put it back in my bowl. Okay, like this. Okay, now what I want to tell you is let the cabbage cool down before you put all the ingredients in it. Because what happens if I put that egg, well, it's too hot, it's going to cook the egg. Okay, make like a scrambled egg. We don't want that. Okay, so what I am going to do, I'm going to put the egg in. Alright, put this on the side. Mix this up a little bit. Okay. Next. Oh, by the way, at the end of the show, I'm going to give you a little tip about water. Alright, we got this mixed in. Good. Now, of course, we got our little bacon bits. And what I forgot to tell you from the beginning, this is turkey bacon. So I'm just going to take a little bit like this. Just because I cooked a bunch of it doesn't mean you have to put the whole thing in. But if you want to, you can. You know, just like I said, I have a certain amount of onions and peppers. You like more peppers, more onions? Put it in. Okay? And the onions. And then if you don't like onions, don't put the onions in. Okay? So I'm going to mix this up some more. I want to mix it up before the flour. Okay. So far, so good. Now, I like to use this product called no salt. Alright, it's a salt substitute. Okay, instead of the regular salt. If you don't want to use this, use regular salt. So let me put a little bit of this in. It's up to you. I've got these little packages of peppers because I found them in the cabinet. And I want to use it up to get rid of it. Okay. Again, with the pepper, with the salt. You want more or less, it's up to you. But if you're going to use a lot more salt, I suggest you use this, sodium-free salt. I'm going to mix this up. Okay. Now, here it comes. The flour. I'm going to do a little bit at a time. Okay, mix it up. Now, when you're doing this, and you think that, well, it's still a little bit too loose. Add a little bit more flour than what I said. I mean, even though I strained the cabbage, it does retain water. Put a little bit more in there. And then, if it's too thick, very simple, add another egg. Yeah, we're getting it nice and thick here now. Takes a little while, but we'll get there. Keep mixing it up. You want to mix it real good. Very good. Okay. Now, on the stove, I have the frying pan heated up. Okay? And like I said, at the end of the show, you're going to see the ingredients and how much of what to do. What I'm using, which I always use, I use grapeseed oil because it doesn't break down to trans fat. Now, I get comments where people say to me, well, the grapeseed oil will eventually break down to trans fat. Well, that's true, but the time that grapeseed oil, okay, breaks down to trans fat, you got a fire in the kitchen. So, use the grapeseed oil. It's the better alternative. Some of the other oils have a high tolerance, but not like the grapeseed oil. All right, so this is pretty well good and mixed. Put this on the side. Now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to make like the oil's heating up in the frying pan. I'm going to make like little meatballs. I'm going to put it in my hand like this. You want to use a spoon or an ice cream scoop, that's fine. Okay? And you can see how I make these. Squeeze it. I'm going to make a bunch of these. Well, what I can fit in the frying pan. Then I'll have another batch. And we're going to let that cook down. Okay, so like I told you, I got the grapeseed oil heating up. And I have my little meatballs here. I want to call them meatballs. Now you can see how that's nice and hot and sizzling. And it all depends. People go, oh, like what temperature? Well, this just happens to be a electric stove. Gas, electric, it's all different. Just got to play it by ear. Okay, so I'm going to wait about a half a minute. I'm going to get the spatula, press it down. When it gets golden brown around the side, we're going to flip it over. Okay, so I had turned these, pressed them down with the spatula. Okay, once they get golden brown around the edge, that's when you flip it over. So here we go. These are my cabbage, what I call cabbage pancakes. So I want you to try this. Now I want to talk to you, give you a little, I have many weight loss tips. And you don't forget, I got books on Amazon of the cookbooks. All right? Which I've said many times in my books, you should have breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, and dinner. And it's not too much food. The food has got to be in the right combination to lose the weight. All right? We'll talk about that another time. But here's a little trick I want you to know. Let's say bottled water, like this size. All right? I prefer cold. It'll kick your metabolism in. But if some people, they can't have cold for their teeth or whatever, they just don't like the cold to have room temperature. Now here's a little weight loss trick. Before the breakfast, the snack, the lunch, the snack, and the dinner, okay, have a bottle of water this size. Now, I'm not telling you to have it with the meal. I'm telling you by itself before you have the meal. So and I don't want you to chug-a-lug it down. Take a little bit, put it down. Take a little bit, and put it down. Now, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen when you do that. Then after that, you can have your meal. If you took the gas out of your car, and you fill the tank up with water, of course we're not going to run the car on water, and you turn the ignition on, the gauge on your dashboard is going to go all the way over to fill, because it doesn't know it's water, it just knows it's fill. So between your stomach and your brain, you're going to be half full, so you're not going to be that hungry and eat that much. That's my tip for today. I'm the real deal when it comes for slim down weight loss meals. Like, comment, and subscribe.